Tell me about your story.
Well, what happened to me was the shock of my life when I got diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Did it
Now,
come out of the blue?
completely out of the blue. Where I'm at is I've had diabetes for quite a few years,
Okay,
and one of the symptoms is having to wee a lot.
right. Now, is this diabetes one or two?
It's now one because I'm on injections,
Okay,
but it's a symptom. If you've got sugar in your blood, you end up weeing a lot. So
right.
you've got to keep on top of it. So where we got to with this prostate, I was weeing a lot,
Yeah.
but
But
it's
putting
a
it
symptom
down
of the
to,
both.
yeah,
Sometimes I was every hour at night, uncomfortable, not uncomfortable from the point of view of going a lot, but the fact of having to get up, tired, and all that sort of business.
yeah. And you're putting this down to diabetes.
Diabetes. And I'm thinking, well, just diabetes, won't worry about it so much. It's part of life. I'm used to it. And then I got relationship problems in the bedroom.
Right.
And I'm thinking, this is something else.
Okay.
So I thought, let's get this investigated.
And how long was that going on for?
This happened 2021, September,
Yeah.
and it probably been going on for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I thought, no, something's not right. I'm
Okay.
going to get something done. So I've gone to the doctors and explained the problem to the doctor. And the first thing he said is, I think we need to get your prostate investigated.
Now, had this come to your mind at all by this point, or did you think it was something completely different?
No, because bedroom problems occur with diabetes as well.
Okay. Right.
So I'm like in the middle then, because one side's diabetes, which I know I definitely got, and now the other side, going to the doctors, he's talking it could be prostate cancer.
Whoa. That's so.
So
This is a surprise.
yeah, it's not such a shock, more than surprise,
Okay.
because it's something that I think I'm like everybody. You never think it's going to happen to you,
Yeah, this is a problem, isn't it?
but we've got the first lines of investigation now. So we then have to bend over, and he gets his finger out and checks around and says, "I can feel something enlarged there. Let's do a test, which is a PSA test, which is a simple blood test that anyone can have done."
What does PSA stand for? What are they looking for there?
They're looking there to see what your prostate level is, because your prostate level should be less than 0.001.
Not one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've sent it off, done the test, and they said your levels are 20.
Okay.
They're
So
going to
from
go.
not one to 20, that's quite a jump then.
It is it is a significant jump, but 20 still doesn't seem high, in
Okay.
comparison. Yeah. So I've then got an appointment to go and see the oncologist. He's then done and checked it out. He said to me, "You've got an enlarged prostate. It's in an advanced stage of prostate cancer."
Oh,
And I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting to walk in to find this out today." And next to him is a Macmillan nurse as well. And
right.
then,
Now that's a point of realization then, isn't it? Seeing a Macmillan nurse.
yes, she's then given me the leaflets and said, "If you need any information, we're here to contact, but we're going to do further investigations." So I said, "Okay." But at that stage, they more or less told me, "You've got prostate cancer."
How did you deal with that at that time? I mean, were you living in a bit of a stupor? Was it such a shock?
No, it was something that just went over my head. Because
Okay.
as far as I was concerned, they were telling me it's prostate cancer, but it's treatable.
Did they
So
say that, or was that just your thinking? Is that your mental
no,
attitude?
they're talking to me and saying that we're going to start treating you for it.
Okay.
But until my attitude was that until I can't be treated, I carry on with my normal life.
Right.
So my outlook was get on with your life, take it in your stride until someone says you can't go any further. That's it's getting drastic.
You say take it in your stride. Obviously, this affected your life, your everyday life, immediately.
Yes.
How did that affect immediate life? What happened? I mean, did you go straight back to work and live normally?
Yeah, but just carried on as normal. first of all, I had to go through all the treatment. So they've done the investigation. We had to go. I mean, they were very thorough doing everything, which made it more reassuring for you that they were actually looking out for you. So I had to go and have, the worst thing was doing a biopsy.
Right. Can you share
Yeah.
that experience?
I don't want to be too graphic in it,
Oh,
but
no, we don't mind.
basically, you're in a set of stirrups in a theatre. You're conscious. You've got local anaesthetic, and they come out with 12-inch needles, and they stick them straight into your prostate area, and then you can feel it moving around, and you're in a room. And fair dues to him, we were having a laugh and a joke about it, and he's the only guy, and there are all these women in there, and I'm like, you better not send this out on social media because that's the worst thing that I could imagine.
Did you
But
say that in the theatre?
yeah, I said that in the theatre to the girls. They were laughing,
I
and I
love
did
your
say
way,
to the
Paul. I must say, I really do. This is what I'm picking up on. Go on, yeah.
I did say to the guy there who was doing the operation and procedure, you know, you're putting me through a lot of pain. Can we swap so you can feel what it's like? And apparently, he didn't want to do it. But what they say is this pain for a man is the equivalent or worse than childbirth for a lady.
Okay, and by all accounts, that is pretty excruciating.
Yeah, but this is when you've got. I had to have four biopsies done, so he's got to go in 4 times with these needles, do a scraping, and then take it out and do it. So that was the major thing.
How long did that take?
I think lying on that bed, it seemed like days. But in effect, it was probably only like half an hour, 45
Only
minutes.
half an hour. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
But you know, the uncomfortable situation, which I can see a lot of people would not enjoy going through that. From listening to what I've got to say, I'm sure they wouldn't. But you've got to have it done to find out what the situation is with yourself.
So
So
you're
that was
feeling
fun.
you're feeling in safe hands, I'm guessing at this point. So they're really looking after you pretty well and quite quickly as well.
Yes. So they're done that. Then they say, right, the next thing is we've got to make sure it hasn't gone to any other parts of your body. So you have a full body bone scan.
Okay.
So what they're looking there for is to see if there's any traces of it spreading anywhere. Luckily for me, it was all contained in the prostate area, and that's where they then concentrated. So the next step after that was they sent me to have an injection, which is hormone therapy. Now, the hormone therapy is to stabilize the prostate to make sure it doesn't get worse, the cancer, you know, to try and tighten it in and hold it in.
Whilst they're going to treat it, they're trying to hold it and
Yes.
then treat it.
So that was the first bit. And then that got followed up by 36 doses of radiotherapy.
Right.
From that, I had to go and have what I've got as my lifetime souvenir of tattoos done,
Tattoo.
which they had to make little tattoos in ink on my body around my hip area to check that they've got the right place to start doing the radiotherapy. So they're targeting it. So they've
They
got
literally
the
tattoo you. They literally tattoo you.
yeah, a couple of little
Huh.
needles stuck in and a bit of ink stuck in me, and they're there all the time now.
Quite
So
a memento.
yes, it's not seen by everybody though.
No, only special people, I'm sure.
That's right. So that meant that every time I went for a radiotherapy, they could target it to that specific area,
Yeah.
and then that was doing the job.
And how long did that take?
What the inject the?
The whole 36 injections.
Okay, so that started in April, and that was every day, Monday to Friday, because they gave me Saturday and Sunday off because for some reason cancer doesn't operate on that period of time.
That seems a bit odd, but I'm sure you
Yeah.
probably appreciated the break.
No, because all it was lying down on the table for 5 minutes and having this radiotherapy treatment on you, which you didn't feel any pain, didn't feel any discomfort. It was just that for 5 days. What it did effect is how you do your work, because although it didn't make you feel tired or anything like that, it was just the times that you had it. So you had to fit in with hospital opening hours, and they moved you from one. I had to go to a different hospital to have it done as well, and that affected the time. So you couldn't work a normal working life because of the timings on this, because you couldn't be in work at certain times. But it was it wasn't so much stressful, it was more worrying that you weren't earning.
What do you do, Paul? I mean, do you have an employer or are you self-employed?
I'm employed. I work as a casual member of staff for different companies, and I work in events.
Okay.
So events sometimes started at 6 in the morning. Well, I couldn't be there for 6, so I couldn't do that job.
But if
No,
you're not working, you're literally not earning.
that's right. I was not earning. Yeah,
Okay.
that was a bit of a strain.
I can
But
imagine.
once that lot had finished, you were counting down the days because you were waiting for that last day. And on the last day, I said to the girls in there, "It's been lovely meeting you. Hopefully, we can meet in different circumstances."
Sounds like a shut-up line to me, that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was way out of their age group, so I was a bit, which obviously people are, because this sort of thing affects people who are 50 plus.
Well, this is the thing now, but throughout the radiotherapy, you say that the process of having the treatment was relatively easy, but how did it affect the rest of your body? Did it affect anything else, the way you functioned, your mind, or no?
No, I think I'm still crazy in the head like I was before.
It hasn't improved in that department.
No, it's one of those things that people always say, "Oh, but you've been treated for cancer." I said, "It's not chemotherapy."
No, okay,
That's
right.
the first thing. As soon as everyone says cancer is chemotherapy, I didn't have to have chemotherapy. The radiotherapy worked. If the radiotherapy hadn't worked, then the next stage could have been chemotherapy or something else. I didn't want to go into that any further because obviously I was being looked after.
Fine.
And what they then do is they leave it for so many weeks, and then they do a blood test again to check what your PSA level is. And my PSA level went from 20 to 0.016,
No.
which meant my levels were back to normal.
Oh, that is wonderful. I mean, I sense the feeling of joy coming over me. You just saying that. I can only imagine what that meant to you at the time.
Oh, yeah, once you get the results back, you know it's working. The oncologist is monitoring you, and they're saying, right, we've just got to keep up with your 6 monthly hormone therapy injection
Okay. So
because
every six
they're
months.
stabilizing it again. They're holding it down. So I'm now on my second hormone therapy because every 6 months we have an injection, and my latest one was 0.006.
Oh, gets
That's
even
even
better.
better. So
Even
I'm now back to normal levels.
and
I'm
going forward, is this now a 6 monthly checkup for the rest of your days or what?
No, for me now, I've got one more 6 monthly injection to do in June,
Yeah.
and then that should be me released. But obviously, check every year or whatever because there's a possibility it could come back. But it's a simple blood test. It's not having to go in and do anything. They'll do a blood test check. So I've just got to make sure I'm a bit careful. But at the end of the day, my life never changed because my outlook was until you tell me I can't carry on, I'm just going to carry on. So I've literally worked flat out as many days as I can work, I can.
Paul,
And
do you think that this helped with your treatment and your recovery? I mean, we're talking about a mental attitude here. There's no doubt about it.
I think by me going off and working the hours I did, it took my mind off things.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just that. The job I do is meeting people every day. So it relaxed me because I was chatting to different people from different fields about different things. And I mean, I work at race courses, I work at RHS Wisley Gardens. So I'm meeting a cross section of people, interacting with them, but I talk openly about it. I will tell people I've suffered from prostate cancer. But
And is this something that you really feel drawn to do now? Because my question to you really, and I think the viewers will want to know as well, is how has the experience changed your life and your outlook on life? And what are you going to do now for the rest of your days that maybe is different to what you thought you were going to do?
I've changed my job specifically because I was working too many hours, and now I'm working in a job where I've got casual employment with different people, working with friendly people, but stress free. So
Oh,
my life has gone from working, 4 12-hour shifts a day to now working shifts when I want. Okay, I can do 12-hour days if I want, but I shut off at the end of the day. I can relax because of the way I've got my work planned out. I can take days off when I want. I can work when I want. It's me working the way I want to work now.
are you saying then that your experience with prostate cancer did this, that you wouldn't have changed the way that you work and got a much better work-life balance without having going through this terrible ordeal?
I think I was in a situation where it was a life-changing thing, but I was in the middle of changing my life. So this helped me and guided me in a way. And I'm doing this work. I'm working in the horse racing industry. I've got my own shares in horses, so I enjoy doing that as well. But it's meant I'm more relaxed. And everybody I speak to, and I talk to about prostate cancer because I want to talk to people about it. I'm not somebody who wants to bottle it up and hide away. I've been open all the way through. Ever since I was diagnosed, I've always told people I've got prostate cancer. I'm fighting prostate cancer. And
And,
people open up to you as well. And I've spoken to people and I said, yeah, I've got it. I've had it as well. I said, you're joking.
and do you
But
think
only
that this
talking
is
to you,
this
yeah,
is
they're
almost
only
like
talking to me because I spoke to them.
but
They
is this
just think it's
almost
like,
like a requirement you sense now that you've been through it and you've beaten it, hopefully, that it is a requirement for you now to spread the word and to maybe to help others who are maybe watching this with a few issues here and there and not getting checked out? Because the fact is, if you hadn't checked yourself out, then you may not be speaking to me now.
there's a possibility that that could have been the situation, but it's not. I think with men, it's a big factor because you're looking at the situation of I've got to go in, I've got to explain to a doctor, I've got this problem.
That's right.
I've then got to have someone interfere with my body,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
don't feel comfortable with. And a simple way of doing it is going in and having a blood test.
Right. And can
So
any man over a certain age request this?
you can go to your doctors. It mostly affects people over 50.
Well, there's good advice then, isn't it? Anybody over 50, men watching this, can just go and ask for a PSA test. Is that what it is?
Yeah. You
Yes.
just
In fact, you
have
know
you
what?
had one done, David?
I haven't. And after this conversation, I will ring the doctors next week and I'll go and request a PSA test.
But again, you've got to, if you've got the signs,
I don't, but I
that's good then.
but speaking to you, I knew a little bit of the signs, but speaking to you, I feel I know an awful lot more. But I didn't realise that I, over 50 and others, can request a PSA, and that's very good advice, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
in truth, it actually saves the health service an awful lot of money if they can pick up these things early. So I don't see why they wouldn't want to do it.
And not only that, it gives you peace of mind
Yeah.
because you know if your levels are correct, that you're okay. And the
Right.
doctor might then say, I'm glad you came in and checked because we found something else.
Right. Yes, exactly. And so it's prior, preventative care, maintenance, almost like an old car, isn't it? Well,
Yeah.
we're like old classic cars now. You see, over 50, it's preventative care here.
The MOT.
MOT. Now, what would you like to say finally to anybody watching this? What advice, has this given you a new spring in your step? Have you got a new outlook generally to life? I mean, do
Well,
you
I
not
would
get stressed
say
as much, maybe?
the best thing to have as a little phrase is if in doubt, check it out. Because you can't bottle it up and hide things because if your partner notices things, there's a problem. It might not be what we're talking about, it might be something else. If you are having to go to the toilet a lot, you might find it's diabetes, which is a great relief because it's not your prostate. So you're eliminating factors, but you're looking after yourself and making sure it's not the dreaded C word that everybody hates.
Well, that's lovely advice and very inspiring talking to you as well. And I think what I picked up on this conversation, Paul, is a great mental attitude. And I'm sure that's probably not all natural. I'm sure you had to work on that throughout the procedure and your experience as well.
I think my attitude on life is completely different from a lot of people. I try and have a laugh, I try and have a joke. I'm not somebody who would bottle it up, but it's what your support mechanism is behind you. I've got great work colleagues, I've got great family, I've got great friends. They're all, once they all know what's going on, they're all willing to help out and look after you and, run you to the appointments and things like that. And that's what it's all about. And it's telling them, because if you're telling your story, it's getting it off your chest. You've not got it bottled up. I mean,
well, a problem shared.
The problem shared is problem halved.
And is that the advice? Obviously, if in doubt, check it out. And then if you are diagnosed with anything like this, talk about it, be open, and ask for help as well.
Yeah,
from those around you. Just be honest and open. It can happen to any of us.
It's difficult for men. I mean, you might not know that people have got it.
No.
Because they've not said anything. But to me, they should be saying it because they should be looking after their friends. They should be saying, I've got it. Check yourself out.
Well, Paul, I think that the chat we've had now and the advice you've given, I think if it could help one person that watches this video, then that's a great achievement. So I'm going to say a huge thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks for being honest and open and sharing your experience. And you are an inspiration. Great to meet you.
It's been lovely speaking. Last thing before I go.
Go on.
Walk the course.
What's that?
This is Walk the Course for Prostate Cancer. Check it out on Facebook.
Walk the course. I'll put a link below the video. So you've got a video, you've got a Facebook page with it on.
Yeah, and it's called Walk the Course for Prostate Cancer. And we're encouraging people to walk around racecourses around the UK and get to know people, get to understand what prostate cancer is all about, and just take part and donate to a charity. There's some great prizes as well for everyone who takes part.
Fantastic. I'll put the link below the video to your Facebook page, and I hope you get inundated with people taking an interest and donating. Paul, you're a great flag waver, and I think situations like this need people like you. So again, huge thanks.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your time, and it's been a pleasure talking to you, and hopefully people will check it out.
And what's the line again?
If in doubt, check it out.
You've got it. Thanks, Paul.